What is up, everybody? Cliff Ravenscraft here with another episode of my vlog, and I know it has been a while. I am so excited to share with you what is going on in my world. I just returned from San Diego, California, where I attended the 7th annual Social Media Marketing World Conference. Social Media Marketing World 2019. I have had the honor and the privilege of speaking at Social Media Marketing World every single year since its inception. Incredibly blessed to have a very close personal friendship with the man who started the whole thing, Michael Stelzner. He, of course, is in my green room mastermind, and just an incredible blessing in my life just to know Michael as a person, to have him as a friend, and to have been given the privilege and honor to speak every single year at this industry-leading conference for people who are professionals in the area of social media and marketing for their businesses. There were companies there they're big name brands. I could name drop a bunch of people, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It was quite a privilege for me every single year to go and speak at this event. It has done nothing but elevate my level of credibility in the space. It has done nothing but give me great exposure to my brand, and not to mention the fact that every single year previously my ability to speak in front of each new audience that's there, I've benefited in a way where it's meant hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of income directly attributed to people who may have never heard of me before, or maybe if they did, they didn't know much about me, but they attended a session that I've done in the previous years at Social Media Marketing World, and as a result of that, they made a decision either immediately following the event or sometime within months following the event to buy one of my products or services. So it's been a huge blessing. And in episode 591 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show, I put out an episode just at the last minute, and I expressed in that podcast episode, I wonder if anybody's going to attend my session this year, because it's unique. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I pretty much gave up my brand. I completely shut down 100% of all of my revenue related to teaching people how to podcast. All of my coaching and consulting, any product or service related to podcasting was completely shut down in September of 2017. And I made a decision that I no longer wanted to be recognized as the podcast answer man. Instead, I wanted to move forward as the mindset answer man, as a business mentor, a life coach, a motivational speaker, a man who helps people break free from whatever it is that's holding them back from living the lives they were truly created to live. That's what I wanted to be known for. And so when I made that transition, knowing that I was no longer the world's leading go-to authority in the world of podcasting, I knew that it might mean that I might lose a position as speaker at this very illustrious industry-focused conference. You know, if you're not going to be known for podcasting, are you going to speak on this topic? Well, last year I did speak on the topic of podcasting, even after I made that transition, but I kind of did a little unique twist. I did how to build a profitable online business around your podcasting efforts. So I kind of was able to tap into that business mentoring and also the life coaching aspect of what I'm doing and still fit inside of the podcasting track. But not only had I made the shift away from podcasting, but something interesting happened at Social Media Marketing World 2019. Michael Stelzner and his team decided not to do a blogger or a podcaster track this year. I don't know if it'll ever come back, but I do know that they made the decision to shut it down. And one of the reasons is that these sessions in the past had pretty low attendance relative to all of the other sessions that were available. So I don't believe that reflects poorly on podcasting or blogging as far as an essential tool for marketing, stuff like that. It just seemed that the interest of the attendees at this big event, these are a lot of corporate marketing departments. They're sending their employees to come and learn about Facebook ads, what's changing there, chat bots, and LinkedIn advertising and stuff like that. So for whatever reason, a majority of those people seemingly weren't as interested in these blogger or podcaster tracks. Now, it's not to say that nobody attended. I would say that on average, over the past 7 years, or the past 6 years that I spoke in the podcasting track each time, I would say I had somewhere between 50 to 150 people in my session. But I would say for a majority of that, it's somewhere between 50 to 75 people per room. Whereas any other session in any of the other tracks, we're talking several hundred people per session. So relative to all the other ones, these podcasting sessions and blogging sessions were the least attended at the conference, and therefore I'm certain, well, I happen to know for a fact that that's one of the contributing reasons why podcasting track and blogging track was removed from this event. So now I'm like, okay, I'm no longer associated to podcasting in any way, shape, or form, and the podcasting track has been removed from the event. Am I even going to be invited to speak? I know that Mike and I are close friends, but I personally, for the record, I mean, and Mike, I assume you're probably watching this since it's about my experience at Social Media Marketing World. But the thing is I never expect a friend of mine to give me a spot in whatever it is that they're doing. That's just not who I am. And I'm certain that Mike knows that as well. But when it came time it's that normal time frame of when he's, personally reaching out to the speakers he wants to speak at his event, he says, "Hey, Cliff, do you mind if we jump on a call to talk about Social Media Marketing World?" And I'm like, cool. And I'm thinking, maybe this is where he's like, he has that gentle conversation about how can I tell Cliff I'm not inviting him to speak this year. But that's not how that conversation went down. Instead, he says, "Cliff, I want to give you a workshop." Now, what you may not know is that Social Media Marketing World, in all the years previous, I've had a session during the regular conference, and sessions are like, I don't know if they're 35 minutes or 45, I think they're 45 minutes or something like that. But it's a typical session at a conference, and it's in a breakout room. But Social Media Marketing World, the day before the event officially ends, if you have an all-access pass, which a majority of the attendees do, then you can come a day early, and on Wednesday, they have all day long, they have these workshops, and they're 90 minutes each. And he says, "Cliff, I want to offer you a workshop." And I'm like, "You want to offer me a workshop? That's awesome, but what do you want me to speak on?" And actually, depending on what he wanted me to speak on would determine whether or not I would want to do a workshop. And I was blown away. Michael Stelzner suggested, why don't you do something like on the mindset of how to achieve any goal or something like that? I think that would be a great fit for you, and I think there would be some interest. And I'm like, if you think there's interest in that at your event, then awesome. So in episode 591 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show, I was sharing that, is anybody going to attend my event? Is anyone... I mean, here's the deal. You've got all these corporate marketing people, these digital marketers, these people who are looking for what's the latest tweak that I can make to my Facebook ads to make my business more profitable, to sell more products and services. If those individuals are very, like, if podcasting as a technology is so low on their field of interest for a session, then are those people going to go to a mindset-focused session, or especially a workshop? A 90-minute workshop. During a 90-minute workshop, all the other workshops that you could have attended are those very hardcore, here's exactly some techniques and strategies, and we'll help you go through, and we're going to do a workshop on helping you figure this plan out so that you can maximize your efforts and all that. I mean, there were so many other workshop opportunities. I'm thinking, is anybody going to come to how to achieve a mindset that will allow you to achieve any goal? And I expressed that in episode 591. Well, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away when I walked into the room. Actually, I wasn't blown away when I walked in the room. That's not true. Because before my session, there was Chris Ducker, and he did this amazing session on building a personal brand, and his room was packed out. And it was like three of the breakout, you remember the podcasting track rooms? Well, that was like one little room in the convention center. So like I was in room, let's just say I was in 24C was the room that I was in, and the blogging track was probably 24B, and the YouTube room was 24A. I might be exaggerating just a little bit, But the room that I was in for my workshop was 24ABC. And it was this big, huge room, massive chairs everywhere, hundreds of chairs. And I walked into Chris Decker's session and it's packed, right? So then I go into the speaker room to kind of just chill for a little bit, make sure that my slides are all up and running and stuff like that. And then I come back to the room after Chris's session has emptied out, and I walk into the room and there's about 20 to 30 people in the room. And I'm like, okay, so I wasn't blown away right when I walked into the room. But, so I walk in about 30 minutes before my session starts. There's about 20 or 30 people there. And I'm like, okay, my suspicions are kind of being confirmed here. There's not much interest in a mindset-focused session at Social Media Marketing World, but that's okay. The 20, 30, let's just assume there's going to be another 20 to 30 people come in. It's just like any session before. I'm going to have somewhere between 50, 75 people in here. That's going to be perfectly fine. I'm going to give everything I have to serve and to, number one, I want to entertain these people, but more than anything else, I want to educate them. I want to encourage them. I want to inspire them. I want to motivate them, and I want to give them techniques and strategies that's going to help them bridge the gap between what they say they're going to do and what they actually end up doing. And I want to help people find out why it is that they have not been able to do this in the past. So I'm working the room, okay? And working the room for me, I get mic'd up from the people who do the mic and everything like that, and we get the laptop set up, my confirmed slides, but then I'm spending 30 minutes before I'm introduced and my session starts. I'm spending 30 minutes talking with as many individuals there face to face that I possibly can. And so I walk up to the first person I see, I go over and shake their hand. I say, hey, my name's Cliff Ravenscraft. I want to personally thank you for attending my session. And I said, do you mind if I ask you a question? And so I asked him, I said, hey, what was it that made you decide to come to my session today? I mean, looking at the schedule, you saw all the other sessions that were available to you. Why did you decide to come into mine? And I asked this I'd say I got to talk to about 10 or 11 people. Every single one of them said exactly the same thing. Mindset. The word mindset was the first thing that stood out to me. And then when I read your description, and the description said something like, have you ever found that there always seems to be a gap between what you say you're going to do and what you actually end up doing? Well, if you come to my session, I'll explain to you why that always is and how to change that forever so that you can, in fact, achieve any goal that you set out to achieve. That was the description of my talk. And they said, when I read that, it's like I realized that there's so many of these other sessions, they're teaching me the things that I should do, and I know how to do so much because of all the things that I teach, or that I've learned, but I find that I'm just not taking actions. I'm setting these goals, I'm blocking out the schedule on my calendar, but I just can't motivate myself to do these things. And I'm like, that is so awesome because you're going to learn why that is, and it will never be a problem for you from this day forward. And I had that conversation with, like I said, 11 people. Now, in the 30 minutes that I was having that conversation, the room filled up. I'm not kidding you. The room filled up. Now, I don't know how many chairs there were in this room, 24 ABC, but there were hundreds. I do know that. And I would say the room was about 70, 80% full. My friend Mark Mason said there were a minimum of 200 people into the room. So the room, while I was having those conversations, I noticed it was filling up. But when I got up on stage, it's like, oh my gosh, where did these people come from? And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I got up on stage, I did my thing. I took basically 4 different sessions from my Free the Dream conference, which if you haven't heard about, freethedreamconference.com or freethedream.live. Either one of those URLs will get you there. But I took 4 different sessions that I taught at Free the Dream 2018, and I combined all of those sessions into one 90-minute workshop. I've already given these talks before. I had practiced them so many times before Free the Dream, and quite frankly, I teach this to all of my one-on-one mentoring clients. I am routinely going through this through the Next Level Mastermind hot seats with people. This is stuff that is second nature to me. And so I got up there, I did my thing, and afterwards I was blown away. There was about an hour's worth of people standing in line to talk to me afterwards. I had an experience where the very next day I was walking through what they call the networking plaza, and just person after person came up to me as I was walking and say, "Hey, I didn't get a chance to tell you yesterday. I attended your event or your workshop, and I got to tell you, it had a profound impact. I was writing down notes, and I didn't realize that I had this limiting belief." And there were a lot of people that did this. 3 different individuals literally teared up when they told me about the breakthroughs that they had. And what more than anything, there are a couple things about this experience at Social Media Marketing World that I reflect on right here, right now, just coming home from this. Number one, I'm incredibly thankful to Michael Stelzner for believing in me. I mean, I put on my own conference. I host my own live events. All right. And for me to invite somebody to my stage is a big deal. All right. I do not take that lightly. And I know that Michael Stelzner does not take that lightly at all either. The thing is personally, I've never felt like he was quote unquote doing me a favor as the podcast answer man. I mean, with the humility that's necessary, but still with the confidence of knowing what I'm talking about, I was the world's industry-leading expert when it comes to podcasting and teaching people how to podcast. I produced practically more podcast episodes than almost every single other person on the face of this planet. I think I'm probably still in the top 3 or 4. I've taught more people how to podcast, how to launch a podcast than anybody else on this planet. And so if Michael Stelzner had a podcasting track and he wanted industry-leading experts to teach podcasting to his attendees, it was no shock for me to be invited. And, I don't mean to sound arrogant with that, but I'm confident in who I am and the value that I bring there. And so was Michael, all right? But when Michael says, "Cliff, I know that you've gone through this pivot," for him to say, "I believe in this pivot and what you're doing, and that it's an essential part and a vital thing that people need. And I believe that people at my conference would benefit from having a 90-minute workshop led by you," that spoke volumes to me. And so, Michael, if you're watching this, and I know you are, thank you. Seriously, I know that I talked to you several times in San Diego this week, but seriously, man, it means the world to me that you trusted me with your community, with such a big space, a room that could have been filled by anyone else, and a workshop for 90 minutes, and you allowed me to have that platform there. It spoke volumes to me, and I took it seriously, and I am honored that you gave me that opportunity. And I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've had every year, but especially this year. I'm so thankful for that. So thank you, Michael. And the whole team, everybody else at Social Media Marketing World, the entire team that is a part of those decisions as well. So thank you. The other thing that I'm reflecting on is just the fact that this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I was meant to do. This is when I left my career in insurance in 2008 to pursue what it is that I'm doing in the world. It wasn't so that I could leave my career in insurance so that I can make lots of money as the world's leading podcast coach and consultant. That's not what it was. The reason why I left my career in insurance was so that I could do what I do through podcasting and through the content that I create, the entertaining, educating, encouraging, and inspiring others, motivating people to live the lives for which they were created, to break free from this stuff that's holding them back, to break free from the patterns of self-sabotage, to break free from limiting beliefs, to do all of that. I wanted to be able to have that sort of engagement with my audience, with my community, and to offer products and services. But quite frankly, back then, I didn't know about products and services that would allow me to do it. So I was just doing all that through one-on-one emails. I was doing it through live streams and chats and meetups and stuff like that. And I just wanted to be able to do all of that throughout my workday without feeling guilty that I was wasting time at the office when I should have been doing insurance work. I said, I just got to find a way that will allow me to do this without feeling guilty and find a way to make money with some sort of marketable skill that I had. And for me, it was just podcast coaching and consulting. I had a ton of experience. I had a gift for teaching it. And I know that it would be of great value to people. And yeah, I made a living teaching people how to podcast. But through all of that, the 10, 12 years that I'd spent as the podcast answer man, I realized it was the business mentoring that I was doing based upon all the things that I learned about my business journey, not to mention the fact that I'm in a close, personal, mastermind relationship with some of the most influential and the most successful online business entrepreneurs on the planet. And I not only have my own experience and what I've learned from the successes and failure, but I know all about the successes and failures of Michael Stelzner and Pat Flynn and Ray Edwards. And I also have these great relationships with mentors like Dan Miller, author of the book 48 Days to the Work You Love, and Michael Hyatt and some other amazing people. And I've also had very close personal relationships with some of my students like Amy Porterfield and John Lee Dumas. And the names go on of people that I do life with. And so I realized, man, I have this opportunity to be a business mentor, to be a life coach. And I had this dream of becoming a motivational, inspirational speaker that can help people finally unlock the chains that are holding them back, completely break them free from those shackles that have been keeping them from living the lives for which they were created. And to know not just that Michael believed in me, but if there's anyone who's watching this vlog, if you attended a session, whether you knew me before or you're just now starting to follow me because you attended that session, in either way, the fact that you chose to show up to a mindset session at a technical, how-to, strategic social media marketing conference, that hundreds of you showed up for my workshop, spoke volumes to me about the fact that people understand the need that they have for the mindset. That it's not just me and my guru friends in the mindset self-improvement space, but there are people out there that, quite frankly, they're not privy to this information. They don't read Jim Rohn materials and Zig Ziglar materials and Brian Tracy materials and Tony Robbins materials. They're not out there experiencing all of this stuff like myself and some of my closest friends. They're not in this self-improvement space. And so to come to social media marketing world and say, hey, that sounds like a session that I need to be in. And then to have them taking the notes, to see people taking notes and to the conversations afterwards, it spoke volumes to me about the importance of what it is that I've devoted my life to at this point. So for those of you who attended my session, thank you so much. I can assure you this, if anything that I said on that stage had a profound and positive impact on your life, I want you to know that your presence in that audience, your attentiveness that I could see in your eyes when I looked you eye in the eye, and when I saw you looking down taking copious notes, when I saw the light bulbs going off in the expressions on your faces, you did just as much for me as I may have done for you in sharing the insights and strategies that I shared during that workshop. So thank you for that. And then beyond that, obviously that was a highlight of social media marketing world for me. But the social media marketing world was incredible for a number of other reasons. This is that one place where every single year, hundreds of my peers show up. These are my closest friends. I talked to somebody and I said, listen, I would go to social media marketing world every year because this is a family reunion for me. And it's actually a family reunion where I actually like pretty much everybody in my family. It's really awesome, the people that are there. Every year I love to see, if I start naming names, I'll be upset with the people that I forgot to mention so and so's name. So, but yeah, this year I got to face to face, I got hug time and just catching up with at least 100, 120, 130 people that are my closest peers, people that I respect, people out there that are creators, people that out there who are the movers and shakers that are making a powerful difference in people's lives through the content, products, and services that they create. I love these people. I'm motivated by them, and they're from all over the globe, from every country, and to be in one place every year is a huge blessing. I had a private dinner that I facilitated at Seasons 52 restaurant. I reserved this room there, and I invited some of my inner circle and some people who have participated in like Free the Dream conference, some people who came to my workshops that I've hosted here in the Next Level Studio. I invited somebody who just joined the Next Level Mastermind. So I had an incredible evening with those folks. I just recorded episode 592 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show with my friend Mark Mason. We were in San Diego at Chipotle talking about the reaction that two of those individuals had when they sat there. They were talking to each other, but they individually came to me separately and said that, hey, I just want to thank you for inviting me to that dinner. And they said, I looked around the room and I see Ray Edwards and Dan Miller and Chris Brogan and you and all these other people. And each of them independently said to me, and I'm asking myself, what am I doing here? And so I thought that's such a profound question, because I've asked myself that question before. I know Mark Mason, my great friend, has asked that question before. So episode 592 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show, Mark and I actually address that question. And we actually answer the question of why those people were in the room. And if you want to learn how you can get into rooms like that, episode 592 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show is pretty powerful. So that was a highlight there. Invited to go out to dinner with some other friends, going on scooter rides this year. They had these little electric scooters everywhere in downtown San Diego. One afternoon, Mark Mason and I used the scooters to go to Chipotle and driving around San Diego. We had every single year for the last 4 years, the Green Room Mastermind. That's my personal mastermind group with Pat Flynn, Michael Stelzner, Ray Edwards, Leslie Samuel, and Mark Mason. We all get together every year to have dinner. And before that, Pat Flynn and I were scootering around on the Lime scooter. So that was just a fun experience. The hallway conversations with anybody who would stop and have a conversation with me, the people that I had just met, the people that I've seen before. I love social media marketing world. I do. I love going there. I love the feel that I get every single time I go there. And it's always a little bit it's like a downer to go back home, but I love my family. So that goes away instantly. But man, I had a great time at Social Media Marketing World 2019. I'm incredibly blessed. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. And yeah, I wanted to share all of that before the excitement of all of this kind of goes away. So that was my Social Media Marketing World 2019 experience in 28 minutes and some odd seconds. Talk to you soon. Until next time, my friend. Oh, by the way, don't forget, Free the Dream Conference is coming up again this year, September 2019 here. Go check it out, freethedreamconference.live, or no, it's freethedreamconference.com or freethedream.live. Head over to freethedream.live or freethedreamconference.com. Why am I giving out 2 URLs? It makes no marketing sense whatsoever. But I do hope to see you in Franklin, Tennessee. And until next time, I encourage you to take everything you do to the next level. Bye-bye.